Hey, happy Friday, everybody. BZ Watchdog and I have been here having an emergency panic attack, trying to figure out why my microphone keeps on shutting down on me. We're having some issues with StreamYard as well, some connectivity issues. But, anyways, we're going to talk a little bit today about time, place, and manner restrictions at the U.S. Post Office. Let's go ahead and kick it off. To another edition of Ask Michael Ehline. This is where I teach people the law in an unorthodox manner by using examples that we see in the news, case law briefs, but it's all about exposing the Leviathan and its instrumentalities and taking back your rights. Know the law and mean to keep it well. Come here to learn from an expert to know your right. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and have BZ talk to you a little bit about his video while I go ahead and cue this other stuff up. Do it.
Well, for those of you guys who saw it yesterday, we're just gonna have
from desktop.
Sorry about that. Trying to get Michael kind of do a little breakdown from legal analysis, so we can go over time, place, and manner, and when you can be trespassed from a public facility or area.
Yeah, that's about right. So basically what I'm going to try to do, by the way, I'm filming in vertical. I have gotten mixed reviews on the whole vertical filming thing. And obviously I need you guys to tell me if my mic mutes out.
Man, it sounds good now.
Okay, good. So I've gotten some mixed messages on the vertical viewing. My kids say vertical is the way to go, and nobody looks at their phone sideways. So 99% of my viewers, at least on my business website, do the phone view. BZ thinks the phone view is the way to go, but I have gotten a few mixed messages. So just know that I am listening to all you guys. But what we're going to do is we're going to play.
I just know that when you do it in vertical mode, Mike, it actually sends the notifications out more and gets up in the algorithm in fact, it even throws your live feed into the shorts.
All right. Well, that's good to know. So really quick, I want to queue up your video. I haven't done that yet. Just tell people a little bit about what happened to you with Laquifa at the post office. And
good old Lakeisha Washington. Yeah. She's my best friend.
So what's going on with her?
I should have brought her some food or something. Maybe like a orange drink or something. We could have been besties, but no, I mean it turned out to be this is the first time I had an audit go south where I ever had the police called on me. I'm a big burly guy, as everybody knows. I'm not very confrontational. I don't get in people's faces. In fact, when I do my audits, I don't even say anything to anybody. I just go walking in with my camera. I don't engage unless I've been engaged. Kind of like the old Marine Corps rules of engagement, Mike. Don't engage unless fired upon first. It's kind of how I do it.
Yeah.
Well, because you got poster 7, you got that fine line of disorderly conduct, harassment, and anything else they might want to throw at you. So you don't want to give them a reason before you even get started. But by going in there, your First Amendment protected activity of freedom of press, just going and filming according to their poster 7, you can take pictures in the lobbies, foyers, hallways, and corridors. So, I don't impede any traffic. I just kind of go through and take some pictures, stand in a corner, try to observe the interaction between the government employees and the public, and then I'll go to the other side of the building. I might take a little footage of the cameras, that I didn't give them permission to film me, but I take that footage and and I hang out for about typically 15 minutes observing, and then I get in line, and depending on the size of the line, how long they take, sometimes that could be 5 minutes more or less getting in line, and sometimes it can be 20 minutes, and that allows me to prolong my stay filming and conducting a transaction, which I'm trying to help participate in that $6.5 billion loss by buying one stamped envelope at a time.
Yeah.
Good old 88 cents, man, I'm telling you. This is the first time the cops were called on me. I ain't gonna lie, when you're dealing with unreasonable and uneducated cops, You know, the goal is to secure your persons and go home safely at the end of the day. I call that auditor safety, citizen safety.
Auditor safety.
Fuck that officer safety shit. I don't care about them.
Well, Willie B says, get down on your knees and say you're sorry. So,
well, Willie B, you get on your knees and tell me you love me after this video. How about that?
And I want to say hello to the Classic One and thank you Let's OTBO and Willie B for showing up. Chevy, as always, thanks for coming. I did try to notify you all early this morning so we could do this today.
And, they tell me if next time someone asks me if I have permission, I'm gonna tell them I don't have any Parmesan to go with that spaghetti.
Katie Kidman says I've audited many post offices and 9 times out of 10 there's a problem with a customer or employee. So Katie Kidman,
I agree with her.
Katie,
I do try to defuse the situation so it doesn't come to law enforcement, and I try to educate them per their poster 7. And she's right. About 9 out of 10 times, you can get that whole education thing going on. But those 2 out of like 14 times I've done it, woo, woo, woo. Just depends where you're at.
Yeah, in fact, you know what? The suspense is killing the viewers.
Misuse of 911 calls. That's all I can say, dude.
The suspense is killing them.
All the armed men with guns to come get me.
Hey, you're not going to go back and play the 911 call, though?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they kept asking me while I was recording. I tried to give them a bait.
I'm going to play the whole bad chicken. I got all recording.
And then when I tried to ask for their name and title, make sure you don't turn off your body cam, so that'd be conspiring under 42 section. 242 and 241.
Boy.
So what were you doing here? Were you
just filming First Amendment, freedom of press? Their poster 7, which governs the rules and regulations on federal property, says I can.
All right. So yeah, I am going to play it from the beginning, but I like to, kind of like go into the meat of the thing sometimes because that poster 7 is.
But at the beginning of this, I do play the trailer. So the trailer.
We're going to do it all. We're going to do it all, big dog. But I want the audience to know what's going on. So poster 7 is the post office, basically paperwork or authorization that says that journalists are allowed to film at the post office. And of course, we know that the modern view with the academia says the only way you can be a journalist is if it's government approved. But we all know that the whole point of journalism was because they didn't trust the government. So the last thing you want is the government having anything to do with information or telling you what truth or falsity is, because these are politicians. Their whole lives are based upon lies and deceit. And we also know that police have the right to lie. So our only bulwark or only protection is each other in forming our own parallel systems of people that we like and trust. And then we ban and banish those people from our systems. We never let them back once they've betrayed us. And that's the reality of how we can survive. Now, what I wanted to share with everybody is that I've done extensive research on traditional and non-traditional forums, and that one of my lawyers, Alan Beck, is one of the best First and Second Amendment lawyers in the country. So I have an arsenal of advanced information to help you understand the evolution of First Amendment and how it applies to traditional and non-traditional forums, of which the U.S. Post Office is a non-traditional forum. And we're going to get into that in a little while, but it's really cool having BZ here because BZ is really going out of his way to learn how to do federal as well as state public records requests. And so this is going to be a little bit longer live stream than normal, but you're going to get a really good education if you actually want to learn the law. Now, if you're here to get entertained or watch somebody yell at cops or cuss a lot, this isn't the show for you. BZ is a really level-headed, evenly keeled former Marine, and he really does his research. And I think that he's up there with Long Island Audits with respect to his demeanor and mannerisms. But I think that honestly, he's more educated when it comes to the law. And I think that he also comes off better with the police. That's just my personal opinion, having worked for a prosecutor, as well as done criminal defense, appellate work, and a lot of other different types of law. So I have a really well-rounded experience in appeals and regular law. And so I really think that everybody should watch BZ Watchdogs.
Now, real quick before you start, Mike, I noticed you didn't have the description of my channel in your link. And the only reason I'm suggesting that is because I've obtained, and I sent it to your email right as we were starting the stream, but it's on my community page. Remember that FOIA I did on that memo from the post office?
Yes, I do.
Remember how it was redacted and I had to go find the information?
Yep.
I actually was talking to someone about an hour ago and actually obtained the unredacted actual document from them, and I posted it up on my community page and sent that PDF file over to your email, Mike. So I'm trying to make sure that we have records of all this, so that way, if anybody wants to go do a post office audit, they can put that document in their hands to show law enforcement or the postal employees if they want to do an education. If they want to just get confrontational, that's on them. I'd rather educate and walk away without the torture cuffs being put on or getting trespassed.
All right. So right now I'm actually, as we're talking, I'm going over to this YouTube video in the description and I'm typing @BZ Watch Dog. So I'm saving it.
Anybody in the chat room that wants to get a good look at that unredacted memo from the United States Postal Inspection Service, which is the agency that rules, governs, and enforces laws on postal property, you're more than welcome to go over to my channel under the community tab and look at that document. So you can see what their memo is on how they're supposed to deal with First Amendment auditors or anybody with a camera. So if you decide to become an auditor one day, or just a citizen moseying on into the postal office with your camera on, that way you know what they're supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do.
Yeah, and thanks April Rain and Brick and Drophead 74 and Mama Lion too for showing up. Love seeing you guys here. So easy.
You want to roll that bad chicken? We're ready whenever you are, Mike.
I want to roll this bad chicken. I want to go ahead and play it now, guys.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
This bean footage is a little bit longer than what y'all are used to, so
it's about 35 minutes, I think, something like that.
Yeah, and we're gonna stop it or narrate and stuff as we go. I'm not hearing too well. This is up all the way too, homie?
I have to stop recording. What law says that?
Okay, I'm gonna call the
So that's LaQuifa, right?
Yeah, that is Lakeisha Washington.
Oh, Lakeisha, okay.
Or LaQuifa, you're right.
I just wasn't sure. I thought it was LaQuifa.
You're inside our retail. Will you leave the lobby?
What's your name and title, ma'am?
What are you doing in here?
What did she ask
you?
What did she?
All right. So they called all the armed men with guns to come get me today.
We want your got a name so we know that we know.
Well, sir, you're not going to get my identification unless I've committed a crime. Sir,
they don't want you here. They don't want you.
Sir, for what reason? I wasn't being disorderly.
It doesn't matter. They don't need a reason.
It is, sir.
Make it like ultimatums. Like, okay, if you do this, then
there's no if. I asked you if I don't leave. You said you will arrest me for trespassing, and I have not been issued a criminal trespass.
This is your criminal trespass.
Okay.
This is your warning.
And you guys really need to get educated in Texas, guys.
Okay.
No, but I got 4 people with guns sitting here with badges. You know what I mean? I'm
right. So, hey, really quick, BZ. So this is something that a lot of people, and I've even seen people challenge you on your own channel saying, oh, well, the local police, they have the right to be there. They have an interagency agreement, and so can you just kind of tell people what's going on? This is, I just want to give context, right? So these are local cops, and they're showing up at what we call as lawyers a federal enclave. This is federal land. They have no jurisdictional authority to be there.
The only duty that they have is to respond to a 911 emergency. The only problem is this was not an emergency. So therefore, Lakeisha Washington violated the law and conducted a misuse of 911 emergency services for a constitutionally protected activity. And don't worry, I wanted to make sure that video aired and got out first for public outcry before the complaints and the lawsuits came.
Say hi to Brett Ray, by the way. Thank you, Brett, for supporting our show.
Yeah, really Brett Ray, you know what? You're the man. You know what, though? Instead of donating over there to Michael, maybe you should throw some in my bucket, man.
Yeah, throw some stuff to BZ, and also grab a couple of my books. I got a book on how I became a lawyer with no law degree, and that'll help me be able to fund my visits to Texas when I go down there to bail BZ Watchdog out of jail.
Yeah. Actually, what I like Brett to do is actually subscribe to my channel because I never see him in my premieres or live streams.
Oh, definitely, guys. Everybody who's on my channel definitely needs to be supporting BZ. BZ has always been super hardcore and gung ho about supporting my mission, which is just to educate people, really, and to teach my kids how to be entrepreneurs. So it's a two-tier mission. So if he's supporting me, I expect you to support him. You know, we need to form parallel systems to where we support each other. Like, for example, Brett, I need to know what kind of business you're involved in, if any. And if you're not, what kind of business is your family in so I can support them? It's really simple. That's what you're supposed to do. It's the way my father raised me. So anyways, let's take a look here. Oh, Avilia Gill, my gosh, I haven't seen her in a while. What's going
Yeah,
on?
I haven't seen her in a couple weeks. I was hoping she was okay.
Yeah.
I seen her in a live chat earlier today.
Well, that's really outstanding. Thank you, Brett, for your donation. Let's keep sharing. Oh, and by the way, everybody, of course, we know the nexus of me getting more involved in stuff, coming back to YouTube from just doing static marketing and just having a good time, social media included, was my buddy Chili. You know, he got locked up, and I was working on some stuff with him in California and in Texas. And, you know, it just made me go, you know what? This guy had so much reach. I'll bet you I could have got that woman's kids back in Uvalde, Texas, if I would have had that exposure that he could have brought. So love him or hate him, the guy spent his own money to help people who were in need and being, you know, unfairly treated by the administrative state. And, you know, they have unlimited power. So when I run across brave people like that, of course, I want to stand up for them. So everybody give a bunch of ones for Chili in the sidebar for motivating me to get back on YouTube. I mean, I stopped messing around on YouTube, I don't know, around 2013 or 2014. I used to YouTube every day pretty much. I had an organization called the Circle of Trust, and I helped lawyers market. But then I found that all I was doing was helping them, and they were using all the stuff that I taught them against me. So I said, forget it. But in this case, I don't see how teaching people how to stand up to the big brother and the administrative state is going to hurt me. And in fact, I think it'll leave the world a better place for my kids. So I think this is a real
Mike, did I ever tell you the main motivation of me getting out there and doing this boots on the ground and I actually started as a cop watcher on January 13th, I think it was my first video, was because of Chili. I actually live streamed him. OTVO wants some stamps. I got into this because of Chili, man. I got tired of the tyranny, how they did him wrong when they arrested him for that obstruction charge, and then he got arrested again for simply being outside crime scene tape. And,
super chat.
Yeah, I see it. That's the one where it says, you know, BZ, get me some stamps. That's OTVO. So, you know, I got into this because of Chili, but what I did is I went through and started watching probably about 20 or 30 different auditors to see what my style was going to be and the best way to attack this. I hate to say it, it's kind of more of like a Long Island audit thing, but, you know, also at the end of the day, there's no point in getting arrested and giving up your Fourth Amendment right just to try to get a bigger lawsuit. It's still discrimination. You still have a discrimination suit the fact that they show up under color of law trying to get you to be removed. Whether you get removed or you fight it and argue and get it to go the way you want it to, it's still a discrimination. The damage has already been done at that point. So it may not be but you know, we're not out here for the money. We're out here to make change, educate if possible. You know, unfortunately, we may have to do a class action to get the post office to fire these bad employees. And if we start attacking their retirement fund since they get paid out first, it may stop the abuse of postal employees towards the public and auditors.
Yeah, and I really appreciate it that you're focusing on the post office, because it allows me in particular to show you the jurisdictional differences and the interagency differences between local and state and federal agencies. And in here, clearly you've got local law enforcement officers coming onto a federal enclave, and they have no training to enforce federal law.
Oh,
so
you want to hear how crazy this is? Did you see the guy in the middle that showed up in that video?
Yeah.
He's been on the department 2 months and he got a taste of his first auditor.
Well, yeah. Well, in look, all these guys dealing with someone like you, so when you don't come off hostile, it takes away about 50% of their artillery. They're counting on. So, for example, I teach a CQB class, And the first thing I teach my students is what you don't want to do is start swearing and cussing, because any bystanders or witnesses automatically assume that the person using swear words is the aggressor. So by you toning it down and not swearing and cursing, you're taking away their ability to say, stop resisting, because that's all part of how they're trained to think. And not just in the academy, but once your real training day starts, right, on the street, where you
Well,
get
Mike,
their
I didn't
insights.
even realize until after I went back and watched this video a couple times. I must have used the word "sir" as a form of respect and trying to diffuse the situation probably about 1,000 freaking times. But Officer Douchebag to my left, I think, was taking hand cues from Officer Big Boy that should have retired, 20 pounds ago. And I'm not a little boy by all means, but that guy was twice my size, and I was worried the guy was either going to fall on me or he was going to have a heart attack. I mean, seriously. And I'm a big dude, you know?
Let me stop you for a minute. Thanks, Let's OTVOs. Send a hard copy, BZ. Get me some stamps. I love it, man. These guys are so awesome. Again, I want to thank all you guys for joining us. We're getting our standard 40 to 50 regulars who just, for some reason, they just like hanging out.
Oh, by the way, Katie Kidman, I did not cover my face on this one. I don't usually cover my face. The reason you really want to cover your face is to hide your identity, because they have those little face recognition apps. But I just wore my booty cover, no sunglasses, just holding the camera with my little tripod thing, and that definitely gets a and my bright orange Hawaiian Tommy Bahama Corona shirt. It definitely, I stand out like a sore thumb. I really do.
I just put it up on the screen so everybody, what BZ is, so other people who aren't intelligent enough to just come and join our stream. Let me narrate this. So Katie Kidman says, the one thing that I don't agree with when it comes to auditors is when they cover their faces and we don't even know what they look like. Well, she might have a point, but you know what, BZ? Now they have the ability to identify you by your walk and by your gait. So it's like you can't really escape their technology from knowing who you are. The only way you're going to change the system is to create a parallel system and opt out of all of their mandates and all of their weird perverted ideology and all the stuff they're trying to force on your children. That's the only real way you're going to escape it, guys. Give me a bunch of ones if you think that you'd be better off in the company of your own family than you would be in the company of some pervert.
Hey, I don't mind identifying myself to the cops if I've done something wrong, but if they really want my ID, I'm going to make them work for it.
You're right, brother.
Whoa.
Oh my God, dude. Drophead's killing it. I appreciate that, Drophead. I'll tell you something, Drophead. What Drophead says is YT sucks. It's so painful to type. It's too painful to type a simple message. Thanks, Mike and BZ. Well, Drop Dead, I appreciate what you're doing for me, and I want you to do this, give the same support to BZ Watchdog. And here's what I really want you guys to do. I want BZ Watchdog to create some kind of a charitable donation link for himself, because I've been trying to get him to write a book on how to do both public records requests, federal and state. And he's always got these excuses because he's so busy working. So if you guys can help donate a little bit of dough to him, I'll help him get this book finished. I think it's really important that people that have channels like this, have a book or something where people can identify with them to help them, because they're getting something tangible in return, not just donating some money, and they can give it to their friends and their family member. And it's your way of showing support.
Hey,
Give me a bunch of ones if you think BZ should be a best-selling author.
Let me tell you how busy I really am. A lot of people don't think I work or because they think auditors are felons and we don't work and live in our mom's basement like these auditor troll channels do. But I work literally 7 days a week. I actually have a sponsor that helps me a little bit so I can take the 7-day off. I can't tell you who he is because everybody would know who he is because he follows me everywhere I go.
Did you assume you assumed they's gender?
I know who it is because I've spoke to him on the phone. I know who it
is.
They,
them, they're.
Yeah. I know exactly who it is.
Are you kidding? We just got another one, dude. We got another one from Brett Ray.
Trying to top it off. But, bottom line is I do 6 days. I work 6 days a week. I take the 7th day off to go audit 2 to 3 locations. Okay. Now, if I get into a heated little confrontational with the cops, I kind of cut my losses for the day and go home. I put in all my public information requests, all my FOIAs. I go ahead and file any other complaints I need to file. I do other research. And then you got to remember, I also have to edit my videos throughout the whole week during that busy schedule. And not on top of that, all the other calls that I'm taking, text, emails, because people email me. I'm trying to help people out on certain things. There's a core group of people in here that have reached out to me about certain things, and I'm not going to put their names out on blast or anything because I keep all that confidential.
That's
but
good.
I also help people I encounter throughout my work week, trying to help them expose the wrongdoings of the police departments or any kind of. If somebody gives me a breadcrumb, I follow the trail on it. But yeah, I've got a very busy schedule, Mike. So yeah, until I can free up my 6-day work week already, I'm not going to be able to take the time to write such book. But I'm not going to lie. I've been running into some challenges and hiccups on certain things like retrieving body cam footage.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. And the expenses. See, by having a money vehicle, like if you had a best-selling book, you would have a money vehicle now, BZ, to where you'd be able to afford all those public records requests.
It's not even the money; it's the fact that it's turning me down. So the only thing now is waiting.
File.
Well, the thing is they're sending up to the Attorney General, trying to use it as an excuse. 45 business days I have to wait with the Attorney General to approve and say. And the best part about the Attorney General here is he will make them give it to you. It's just they wait till they're 10 business days to forward it up.
Yeah.
Then they got 45 business days to sit there and go release it. And then they sit there and get back to you and say, now you've got $200 to pay us for this body cam footage. So it virtually takes 60 days plus if they decide to. Now, I've actually gotten body cam footage from a small department where I wasn't even involved on the traffic stop and got it within like a week.
Yep. It's all agency dependent. I'm going to be honest with you guys. That's just how it is. It's always going to be.
It's almost like they're scared I'm going to sue them, and they're trying to hide the footage.
They're making it harder on themselves by stifling the access to data. Look, I have a lot of respect for Ken Paxton. He actually is one of the few AGs who has actually gone after pharma. And as you know, one of my family members died a couple of days after their booster from thrombosis and known side effects. So I have no love for pharma. And so because of that, I'm a single issue guy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And you know that he got charged almost within days of baseless allegations to try to get him impeached. I think within days of him opening an investigation against pharma. It's because the Attorney General can waive pharma's immunity. Right now, pharma has immunity from being sued, but attorney generals under that statute have the right and the duty to take away that immunity. And if they had taken away that immunity from pharma, I would be a multi-billionaire right now, because I get probably 10 to 20 calls a day from people who have suffered known sides from these drugs. But look, guys, I want to get really back into this, BZ, because we don't have all night and I don't want to bore people. And I really, really like your video and I want to share this with everyone.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then I'm going to share my knowledge about, public forums and traditional and non-traditional, so everybody can understand the full effect and depth of what BZ's up to. Here we go.
Roll that beautiful footage.
It's business that has to do with financial transactions and stuff. They feel insecure about it being filmed.
When did you guys become the feelings police instead of law enforcement? But you're here to enforce the law, correct, sir?
And part of that is being when people aren't wanted on places.
Because of their feelings.
It doesn't matter. Like he was explaining, there doesn't have to be a reason.
What do y'all do? Go to Tarrant County College Academy? I'm not trying to insult you, but that's where everybody.
Well, that's how you want to. I mean,
I'm not trying to insult you.
Conversation, or you can be the way you.
I'm not trying.
I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just. All right, Sarge, what'd you come up with?
What's your name? I didn't get that when I first.
I'll identify as good citizen for now.
That's fine. Well, I'm Sergeant Brady.
Hey, hold on a minute. So I just want to share something with you guys. So this is something that BZ and I know from being military guys. That see how the officer was walking at you super aggressively, like almost like marking time, expecting you to back up or expecting you to react, and you just stand there, right, like a stone wall. That's part of the training in the academy. They teach you to take control and intimidate. right?
I do what Chili says, man. Plant my feet, stand like an oak tree.
Right. Yeah. Right. But the one time that he didn't plant his feet and stand like an oak tree, remember, is the time that he got arrested, and then Zimmerman put him away. Right. So it's all just depending.
Let him chest bump you, knock you down. That's assault, man.
I'm with you, brother. It's all, but you know what? They're the ones making the arrest. They're the ones who have the ability to make their body cam footage disappear.
That's why I have my camera.
They're the ones who can make it almost impossible for you to get your exculpatory camera evidence into evidence. They can smash cameras. They can try to do stuff. I mean, this is a real battle we're facing, guys.
Go ahead, man. All my stuff's backed up to the cloud, baby.
Let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
All right.
What's your badge number?
882.
Okay.
So here's the deal.
Uh-oh.
Where's Brian right now? Here's the deal over here.
I know, right? He needs to steal that clip.
Easy watchdog here doing another post
doing his trademark. That should do that.
Here's the deal.
Today, on Tuesday, I believe it's May 13th or May 14th. I'm currently over here
Katie,
at
he did it a couple days ago.
Davis Boulevard in North Richland Hills, Texas. I just left another location where they had a 2-star rating. I'm sorry, they had a 1.9 star rating, and some things happened there. I'm about to go.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. BZ, this is a real public service that you're offering here. You know what? I didn't recognize this before, but isn't the post office like billions of dollars in debt? And it's basically like a welfare system to provide jobs to people. We don't even really
I said earlier when I think you were doing something, but they lost $6.5 billion in 2023.
Now, I also heard that they're a quasi-governmental agency, so they're like part government, part private, or something. Can you explain?
No. It's all regulated by Congress. It's under the executive branch of the government. So okay. you got the OIG, you got the USPIS, and then you got the USPS. So it's supposed to be self-sustainable through transactions, but unfortunately, they don't even make their $80 billion a year budget that Congress has given them, and because they pay all their employees and retiree benefits first. Yeah. So they basically just leave the place in debt before the year even starts.
That's terrible. Well, they do transport all the ballots, and they overwhelmingly vote Democrat.
That you know of.
Yeah, right. And they overwhelmingly vote Democrat and donate about 70 to 80% of the money that they do donate to political parties to the left.
But look at this real quick. You see how you froze it on this screen?
Yeah.
This is the public service I am actually helping, because look at the Yelp review on the right and look at the Google review on the left.
Wow. That is shocking to me.
I think it's 1.6 on the right side on the Yelp screen.
So at least I know if I get, and give me a bunch of ones if you agree, guys. At least I know if somebody comes to me and they have a resume that they worked at the United States Postal Service, that goes in my round file right away. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. We should never hire anybody if we have our own business who works for the post office unless we don't want to be successful. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree.
No, Mike, I don't just go by the rating. I actually read the reviews, but 90% of the reviews were about how rude they are inside when they try to get something done. The other 10% is them never answering the phone or the mail disappearing and not getting delivered to the right place.
That's the way I feel about most governmental agencies. They just don't really seem like they care about us. And like someone like me, if I am disrespectful to one of my clients or I don't call them back like when I say I'm going to, I mean, it really hurts my reputation. And when you're in an administrative agency, they don't care. They're living off the tax dollar. There's no incentive to do a good job. In fact, they try to elect people that hurt us, to take more money from us to improve their lives and make their pensions stronger, while you and I are out living hand to mouth. We never know when we're going to get our next case or our next job, but we're told we're privileged, right? Right, BZ? You and I are privileged because we get up at 4 a.m. and go out hunting for worms. And we're privileged if we find a few every now and then.
Every time I go out auditing, I go postal, literally.
I get you, brother. And you know what, man, I'm worried about you. We got to get you back into PT because the blood pressure is going to explode your grape, dude.
You saw how calm I was. There was no blood pressure.
But afterwards, you're going to, there's no way you can, this is like trying to do a CG inspection. You might look cool, but afterwards, that's when you fall apart. Let's keep playing this bad chicken.
Man, I'm like type 3 diabetes, bro. Type 3.
For pretty much the same
Good,
complaints. So with that being said, let's get this party
Our
started.
audience all cares about you, dude.
All right. So for those of you who are North Richland Hills, the address right here. Service hours.
I mean, I am exercising, man. I'm walking.
You got to stop taking the sugar. Cut out sugar. Just drink water and do protein. You'll be fine. Protein and vegetables. You lose 10 pounds a week of just water weight.
Good old sugar.
You got to stay off all that crap, dude. Protein,
This is
vegetables, and
Poster
water.
7. These are the rules and regulations that govern the post office. They're usually hung up on a bulletin board near the glass lobby doors. Photographs for news purposes may be taken in entrances, lobbies, foyers, corridors, or not and auditoriums when used for public meetings, except where prohibited by official signs or security force personnel or authorized personnel.
Okay, so I just want to point something out, guys. This is a big deal because you see all of these like weird frauditor people, like basically like disinformation.
The trolls, just call them the trolls.
Trolls, yeah. Like they say, "Oh no, you can't do this at the post office," and I'm gonna dispel that, of course, at the end of our show today.
Well, let me ask you this, because these Poster 7 rules, if you go and look at the DHS memo, which is actually a federal government rule saying that we can they basically mirror that DHS memo on their rules and regulations. If you go to any federal thing asking about rules and regulations on recording on federal property, this almost identically comes up every single time as far as in the wording.
Yeah.
So it pretty much mirrors everything.
So what the real argument, like if I was the prosecutor, if I was a federal prosecutor, I'm just telling you guys what my argument would be, is that the post office is not an auditorium that is traditionally used for public meetings. Okay. And because that's typically government buildings are buildings reserved for public meetings. I just want you guys to follow me. That playing devil's advocate, that's what I would argue. But me being a constitutionalist and me being more of a traditional Justice Roberts, the first Justice Roberts, not the one we have now, back from like before the 60s or whatever. We are of the school that, hey, it's government. We're paying for it. We should be able to do it and be able to meet there as long as we don't cause trouble. It's a good thing for the citizens to have that kind of power over their administrative agents to be able to go and protest and gather, right? As long as we're not violent or threatening people. I think most of us can agree with that, especially us older Americans who grew up on John Wayne movies and stuff.
Mike, before you start that video, so there's a trespassing thing called 1752 on federal statute, trespassing on restricted buildings. Yes. Now, it does say restricted buildings, but there's two things in there, and one of them is disorderly conduct, which is up there on Poster 7. Now, you got to remember, why is the post office only fenced in the backside where the mail's at? How come it's not fenced in from the front of the property? How come the lobby doors aren't locked at night where the post office boxes
are? It's open to the public, but the argument
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
But the argument would be for a prosecutor is that, a traditional public meeting doesn't entail standing in a lobby and filming. However, you guys, you just saw that BZ wasn't there just for the purposes of filming. He's there to observe because our tax dollars are funding a building and an organization that loses money consistently, that has employees that have a total attitude problem, that always are getting busted for stealing mail and constantly being alleged for interfering with elections, stuffing ballot boxes, helping their party win elections. And they control elections now since COVID, that. So people are really worried. And so now we have this new thing going on where we have auditors who are getting braver, going and filming stuff. And it's opened up a whole new field of law. That's really what's going on, guys. Because before, people didn't understand that they had these rights, believe it or not. It was kind of kept under wraps. But yeah, we actually do have rights to hold our government accountable. And people like BZ are leading the way. People like Chile and BZ are leading the way. Now,
It's
the
like
only
OTVO. It's like OTVO. Yeah, we can film and then call people with guns because that's what they do.
yeah, and look, the classic one saying stealing gift cards and shit. Yeah, LOL. Yeah,
You
and
ain't
back
lying.
in
There's a lot of mail theft complaints.
hell yeah, and or, and back in the day, your grandma always would stuff $5 in your envelope, and she'd always call and go, "Did you get it?" And you'd be like, "Liar."
Actually, Mike, I was looking up the United States Postal Inspection. It's the Office of the Inspector General. They
Yeah.
were actually showing many reports just last month where the postal inspectors have arrested a lot of postal employees for stealing mail. So they do investigate their own and arrest them.
Yeah, they kind of have to sometimes, but
It's only when they get the complaints.
right. The complaints
If
are
you
what.
don't say something, they don't do nothing.
That's right, and you're out there trying to do something, and so I wanted to give a little bit of context though. So poster 7, which I got up here on the screen, part of it is talking about, these are the rules in that glass container that they have in these post offices. And it's like usually a plastic laminate. They're usually side by side. They're pretty big, kind of like, at your work, the work comp poster they have in the lobby, same kind of deal. It tells what the rules and regs are. And so some cops will come in and go, well, you're not in the actual lobby. You're in the actual business area and you're filming private documents and all this stuff. Right. Or you can be over here postal. They'll try to pull that. But so you can tell there's like a total misunderstanding of how all this works, even with the police. And in this case, with police who aren't even authorized to be there. They're not even federal police. So let's go ahead and keep watching this bad chicken.
Or a federal court order for rule. Other photographs may be taken only with the permission of the local postmaster installation head.
Which means restricted areas.
Really old poster 7.
Yeah, that's a
right.
really old one right there, bro.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but we've seen this at the post office before.
Remember that guy at the machine for later. Fast forward.
Yeah, that's cool. This is a really good job. Give me a bunch of ones for BZ's editing of his video. Not bad, right, guys? Hey, I wonder who that guy is.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Attitude.
Why are you in here just randomly recording? Is there a purpose?
There is a purpose.
Okay, we don't want to be recorded, so is there?
Yeah, but
This is the mandatory
official.
stand-up talk memo that was issued to all employees by the Postal Inspection Service, which is the service that regulates enforcing the rules and regulations of the post office, investigating any crime against the employee, patron, or property. Long Island Audit has a unredacted memo here. I got a FOIA back and it was completely redacted.
Which now I have the unredacted I just posted earlier. So
Yeah.
And then that lady was stirring some stuff up because that other one was stirring stuff up. Domino effect.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's that mob mentality,
I fast forward because there's nothing happening. I fast forward because there's nothing happening or being said. So
okay.
That was for Brick. He told me I needed more bells in there.
That was cool, man.
You need more cowbells. You need more cowbells.
That is so cool. He's great. Good job, Brick. You're the man. This raises so many issues for me as a lawyer who really cares about the crime.
I felt like I was being discriminated based on race, not based on camera.
I have to stop recording. What law says
Well, it's perfectly okay.
First Amendment says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people's peaceful to assemble and to petition the government for a redress grievance.
No.
Okay, I'm going to call the police, okay?
Really? You go ahead and call the police. But aren't you supposed to call the postal inspector first?
I'm supposed to do both. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure you follow protocols.
Hey, looking squared away, dude. Cool. Yeah, you can never hear what they're really saying.
Oh, don't worry. That 911 call's coming.
Like Letzo TVO says, call people with guns.
You know what? It's because I'm white. Let's just call it how it is.
Mr. DR, just say you're filming all the signage so you can remember everything. I like the idea of just
look.
filming.
Siva makes a comment right here going, I hope you get my good side for YouTube. So she already knew.
Yeah, dude. I mean, they got a 2-star review, and then the first person you deal with has a major attitude problem, has zero understanding of her role as a public servant. She looks at it like she's running the show.
OTVO says no stamps were injured in the production of this audit.
I love this guy, man. All you guys are hilarious. This is like my therapy. My therapy. Come on, yeah.
My therapy. Well, don't worry. I'll get her good side later. There is no such thing as a good side on this woman, though.
Oh, man. She just is really an unhappy individual. Not liking you at all, buddy.
I don't think she likes life.
Well, if you worked at the post office, you probably wouldn't either.
If I had to work with her at the post office, I definitely wouldn't.
I wouldn't want to work there. Just having a reputation of someone with a 2-star rating is, knowing that they just going there and being mistreated all these years ever since I was young. Like they just.
And by the way, this is a rich area. By the way,
either way, they just get
a white rich area.
Right.
Now you know why they are rude.
Oh, right. maybe that's. I don't know.
They feel oppressed. They feel oppressed.
Isn't it kind of ironic that they tell me I can't film in the post office, but there must be at least 20 cameras just like this one watching her all day?
Wish you could still FOIA if you wanted to.
Look at Mama Lion. She's saying the same thing about the DMV. 80 to 90% of the people are just furious about the treatment they get.
Hey, once I tackle the federal, I might roll down to the state and start hitting the DMVs.
Man, it's just the same deal. The government employees just treat people like trash, and they wonder why people don't like the government. It's just, come on, guys, give me a break. They act like they're entitled. I mean, they complain about like people that are working 18 hours a day being entitled, but they're the ones living off our taxes, treating us like garbage. Look at this, the way they're treating BZ.
Mike, I need your business card. That way I get approached by a cop. I just tell them to call you. That way
I'd love to talk to him.
Yeah, before you take action and want to get sued, would you like to talk to my attorney?
I'll try to witness to him about coming over to the light side of the force.
Do a Chili talk. This is why you don't want to be part of the Death Star.
Well, hopefully Chili will be available, and I'll just turn the phone over to him.
Oh, let's have Chili come back out to Texas, go auditing with me. That way, when the cops show up, I can just release the dog, man. Release the dog.
Dude, we were headed to Uvalde, man. That's why I'm so upset. That woman is getting really messed with by those cops. That woman who rescued her kids, well, those cowardly police did nothing and stood around and handcuffed and pepper sprayed parents who wanted to rescue their children. And she went and rescued her kids, and her payment was to get thrown in jail.
How good of an audit would that be if I just did my audit and then as soon as the cops show up, Chili, sick them?
That I agree. And Katie Kidman.
Don't worry, Chili. Don't worry, Chili. I'll bail you out, but let me film it first.
Katie Kidman says you should do it about the school board. They're the most corrupt agency in the country.
You know what? I'm a little touchy with camera kids, man. It's kind of a.
That's true. That is true.
I kind of draw the line when it comes to school districts and stuff, man.
That is true.
I also draw the line with churches too.
So right now, you and I are just talking, but obviously you're still got.
Oh, here we go.
Yep.
I'm in a lobby, ma'am.
Are you a paying customer? That's the lobby. You're inside our retail.
Okay.
Can you please go out?
I'm not gonna follow your asking permission. I'm gonna respectively decline.
Okay. Thank you.
I was gonna tell her I wasn't gonna follow her directives, but she was actually asking, not giving directives. So
right.
It's at this point she goes and calls 911 for a non-emergency related issue.
Seriously.
I've obtained the 911 call. Here is the audio from that call.
So obviously this took you a while to get this 911 tape.
Yeah.
Address of your emergency.
Production.
Yes, I'm a supervisor.
Need a bunch of ones for BZ.
I have a guy in here recording. Respectfully, I told him.
Address of your emergency.
Yes, I'm a supervisor at North Richland Hills Post Office. I have a guy in here recording. Respectfully, I told him if he can go outside.
Which address?
6051 Davis Boulevard.
What is he recording?
Just recording the area. He's just in a corner. He's not a paying customer. He refuses to get out.
How do you know I'm not a paying customer? You haven't had a chance.
What does he look like?
Caucasian.
I take offense to that, ma'am.
That's racist.
White shirt, black pants.
That's racist.
Brown hair and hat. Brown hat.
He said,
BZ, you don't identify as being Caucasian, do you? I mean, I'm just saying.
Fuck, I'm like mixed, bro. I mean, I'd probably more identify as green and mean. I mean, maybe not so lean.
But I think it's pretty racist to say you're Caucasian.
Yeah, because I'm actually mixed, man. For people who don't know, I'm actually German, Italian, and Puerto Rican. I mean, if anything, I'm a Heinz 57 and not of a Caucasian.
If you're Puerto Rican, you black. So give me a bunch of ones.
Hey, your mic's out. Okay, no, you're good.
Okay.
do you know what he arrived in?
Brown? No, I do not.
What I said is if you Puerto Rican, you black. So give me a bunch of ones for my brother BZ.
If you brown, don't frown.
Lakesha, Lakesha.
And you asked him to leave and he won't?
Yes, ma'am.
And your last name, Letitia?
Washington.
I'm so sorry. Say it one more time.
Washington.
I bet George is rolling over in his grave.
I have to call him. We'll get him out there. Just don't have any further altercations with him. If anything escalates, call us back immediately on 911, okay?
There's the douche right there.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There she is.
Ma'am, can I ask of your name and your title? Since
Lakeisha Washington.
God. This is terrible.
Oh my God, a guy with the camera. Help us all.
Right. What I don't get, honestly, is like you're just filming. You're not doing anything wrong. And
what's your name and title, ma'am?
I don't get it.
What's your name and
That's
title?
polite. I'm using the words like ma'am and sir and everything else.
Yeah.
So you're refusing to give me your info. Okay.
Okay.
And they got a 2 rating, right? A 2 rating across Google and Yelp. And you're there to try to figure out
1.6 on Yelp.
And you're trying to figure out why. And I think we just figured out why. Give me a bunch of ones if you think they deserve their 1.6 Yelp rating at the
Mike, I wasn't there 2 minutes and figured out why.
I mean, I think holding government agencies accountable, but I think we should just eliminate the post office. We have electronic communications. We can have private carriers do the rest.
Look at this woman. She's probably pissed off because somebody woke her up from her gambling.
She just wants to go smoke that.
So since you're asking me to leave, ma'am, are you not going to give me your name and title?
Michelle.
Oh, Michelle. Okay, great. Got your name.
I don't have her number.
Oh, I have it right here. Would you like to call me? I have it right here on your stand-up memo, your mandatory talk.
That's what I don't get. They have a memo that says they're not supposed to call the police. They're not supposed to do anything, right? And they're doing everything exactly opposite of their
mandatory
memo.
stand-up talk. I just want to make it clear, you also violate your poster 7 by making me leave.
Too much commotion.
The only commotion's the employees, ma'am.
Go to hell, mister.
What did she say?
Go to hell, mister.
Oh my gosh, that was not very nice.
What are you doing in here?
What did she ask?
That's because she was in there talking shit about me when I was outside.
Man, it's like what I don't get is like you're not really presenting any kind of a problem other than they just don't like you being there.
They don't like the white man with a camera.
Right. The Caucasian.
Yeah, I thought those type of ignorant people love to be on camera talking to the news reporter.
I don't know, man. I just can only put myself in your shoes and how uncomfortable you must feel. You're trying to hold your public servants accountable, and here you are feeling like you're like somehow not supposed to be there because they're causing you to feel that way. That's
Oh
not
man,
fair.
I was already expected. I was just wondering what the damn response time was. I was hoping it was faster than Fort Worth.
I just don't think they're handling themselves with diversity, equity, and inclusion.
No,
and I feel
they're violating.
This is my FOIA from the post
hold on,
office. This is an extra jurisdictional agreement.
Hold on.
FOIA request. It shows that the local
Wait,
law enforcement
I
North
gotta get
Richland
this
Hills
back.
have no.
Look, I feel like
if you
I feel
actually
like
go to the post office handbook, they're actually violating their handbook with the code of conduct with the way they're
Wow.
acting alone. It actually it's like postal code conduct 661.01, and then it goes through all the like they actually have to, like, you know how we were in the Marine Corps, how you have to maintain that standard inside uniform and outside uniform.
Yes,
The
sir.
same
I
thing
sure
with
do.
their personal lives. It says that in their code of conduct. They also have to behave outside of work as well.
That's right. I mean, police do have a lot of quasi-military sort of policies for sure. You know, code of conduct is a big deal. You don't want to act like a retard out in public. You know, you're gonna bring shame upon the force.
Now,
right?
before you start this, it's gonna go real fast, but I wanted to just leave this up for a second so people could see that this is the interjurisdictional or the territorial jurisdictional FOIA that I did, where it shows that there's no such agreement or contract between the North Richland Hills Police Department or the United States Postal Service or the United States Postal Inspection Service, which is the agency that regulates and gives the powers of officers or federal jurisdiction to the officers of local law enforcement.
Hey, okay, so guys, first of all, we got some new people coming in. Kevin Bironarski, thank you for coming in. Age Go, Jody, I think I already said hi. Will J Rockstar, thanks for coming in again, brother. Will J Rockstar is saying it's nice to have some like basically honest people. Thank you for giving us acknowledgement, bro. And then Katie Kidman again, thanks for your comment about Will Rockstar for sure. And then Let's OTVO, imagine a mailman with a gun. And now just really fast, I want to give you the layman's thing about what's going on with these interjurisdictional agreements from legal sort of interpretation into layman. So federal post offices like Camp Pendleton, for example, that is a federal area. That is federal land. That is an enclave. The post office is considered to be a federal enclave. It's literally an island. That is federal land. The state has no jurisdiction there unless the federal government says they can be there. Straight up. Now, in this case, a law enforcement officer could come on the federal land if it's open to the public for a public purpose. But if a local law enforcement officer goes on to a post office with a firearm, for example, and he does not have permission to have a firearm there for whatever reason.
Actually, Mike, let me stop you. You're wrong about that. I talked to a training officer with Fort Worth PD that trains all the officers.
Yes.
He said even if it's open to the public and he's in uniform, if he's not there for official duties, he's still violating the firearm policy.
Well, right. No, either way. Yeah. For official or unofficial.
So there has to be a 911 response call for him to be there. Outside of that.
Yeah.
He can't just go in there and drop off his mail with his firearm on his hip.
Oh, no, you can never. No, that's what I was trying to say.
Even if he's on duty and he decides to go, like, even if he's in his car and says, I'm going to sneak in there real quick to do this, that's still a violation of the law. He actually has to be there for responding to a 911 emergency.
So unless there's an interjurisdictional agreement between the local law enforcement and the federal agency, those police, not only can they not come on, official or not, with their weapon, but they cannot even drive onto the property with a weapon in their vehicle. They have to park their vehicle off of the federal enclave unless they have permission to be there. Now, is it enforced? Probably not. Federal prosecutors aren't going to probably enforce that, but you could sue for it if you were damaged as a result of the violation of the policy, for example, or the law. Now, in this particular instance, this is an interjurisdictional agreement FOIA request that BZ did. It's FOIA federal because it was between the post office and him, and that makes it federal. But BZ, didn't you also do one with the local PD, which would be a state request?
Didn't do one with the state because if there's not one on file with the federal, there wouldn't be one internally. So because when I told them they didn't have jurisdiction or an agreement, they all just shook their head. Well, that's not always accurate. That's their way of saying, shit, he's calling us out and we can't sit here and lie on his camera and we don't know for sure. So, because the sergeant actually had to make some calls.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they got the right information. Oh my God, OTVO actually donated.
Oh my God, thank you, dude. We've got a super sticker from Let's OTVO. This is dope, man. Thank you guys for supporting the channel.
Is that a sticker? Oh, that's a sticker, not a message, right?
It's a super sticker. I don't know what that means, but I think it's super cool. And
you just like saying the word super, that's all.
I just like it that super people are supporting our super conversations, which I think are really super duper. And in this case, BZ, I would recommend, irrespective of what a federal agency says, is that as you're doing these records requests, to do a local request to isolate any types of policies and procedures that this local PD or even the sheriff might have to do interjurisdictional law enforcement, what type of federal training.
I'm actually waiting for anything to come back from Tarrant County sheriffs, Tarrant County Constable, Dallas County Sheriff, Dallas County Constable, and any other local law enforcements in those counties.
Good.
I must have done about 100 FOIAs. I slammed them and drowned them. I'm just waiting for the responses. They got 20 business days.
So the way it works is they're going to play hide the ball with things that they don't want to give you, but you can sort of play ping pong with different agencies and get things from them. And then you know what the other agencies are hiding from you. And it helps you develop a strategy to get what you really want. And one person to follow would be Tom Fitton, TOMFITTON from Judicial Watch. He is the grand master of getting public records where government officials try and hide things and conceal public information from the public, and he gets it. And then, of course, the news media tries to bury it. But still, nonetheless, pretty amazing what he's been able to do. And I recommend that you take a look at some of his strategies. Let's go ahead and play the rest of this.
Hey, before you go, I just want to do a shout out to Chris Budesa. He just joined. He was sending me messages while we were live streaming, so I told him to come in the room. He's actually the person that sent me the unredacted memo.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Thanks, Chris, for joining us, man. If you ever need anything, you can just reach out to BZ and I'll do what I can. I don't practice law in all the states. I'm only licensed in Texas and California, but I know a lot of lawyers. And, if I can't do anything directly to help you, at least I can try to lead you in the right direction. And hopefully these general principles that you're learning from this show will help you expand on strategies and tactics. And so, again, what you want to do is don't just be satisfied with their responses. Always try and look at what they gave you and look at ways to drill down to get what you really want. Start with general and become more specific. And we can do private chats in the future for my paid members to talk about these things because I don't want to share like all of my trade secrets and years of experience with everybody in the world. But I'm going to go ahead and share this with you really quick.
No jurisdiction.
All right. So they called all the armed men with guns to come get me today. Well, they kept asking me while I was recording. I tried to give them a brief and generic reason for recording. And then when I tried to ask for their name and title, make sure you don't turn off your body cam so that'd be conspiring under 18,242 and 241.
So what were you doing here? Were you just
filming First Amendment, freedom of press? Their poster 7, which governs the rules and regulations on federal property, says I can. You guys don't have an extra jurisdictional agreement to actually contract unless I'm actually being very disorderly or violent. I've already done.
Just as an aside, that body armor looks really uncomfortable underneath his shirt, doesn't it?
That's just a layer of diabetes, man.
I would just rather wear like patrol incident gear. You know what I mean? As opposed to that. Just not my deal. I don't know.
On my homework with FOIAs. And I told them to call the Postal Inspection Service before they called you guys out here.
You got a name?
I don't have a name because I've talked to several people over there. That's why I was able to FOIA this. And that's why, sir, there's a 1-800 number for you to call. All law enforcement or the Postal Service is supposed to call that.
You don't want to touch that.
Okay.
We want your got a name so we know that we know.
Well, sir, you're not going to get my identification unless I've committed a crime. In the state of Texas, I have to be lawfully detained. I'm exercising a First Amendment right to film in public.
I don't think I could have made that any clearer.
The only reason I'm here is investigating the conduct of the Postal Service. And sir,
Well, this business does not.
it's not a business, sir. It's a federal entity. And like I said, do me a favor. If you guys want to complete your investigation before you take action, do anything that would cause you to lose your qualified immunity here, I would expect you call that postal service and ask if I have permission to record on the property.
So the manager and her supervisor,
Sir,
they don't want you here. They don't want
sir,
doesn't matter.
For what reason? I wasn't being disorderly.
It doesn't matter. They don't need a reason. It doesn't
No.
matter. They don't need a reason.
He's wrong.
It doesn't matter. They don't need a reason. It doesn't matter. They don't need a reason.
It does, sir. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Okay, do me a favor. Your body cam on, right?
Of course.
Name and badge number.
Stop the clock so I can slow things down.
Wow, great job, dude.
No, when I say stop the clock, I mean slow them down so I can start thinking and get my thoughts together.
Yeah. You want me to stop the video, or is that what you're saying?
No. I'm just saying I'm slowing them down by asking for their name and badge number.
No, this is really good. This is
a tactic that Chili does sometimes.
Cranford, ID number is 575.
he's making the real money.
Look what I put. He's teaching rookies to do what?
Violate citizens' rights on federal property.
Okay. Now, if I don't leave, you're going to arrest me, right?
Yes.
So under threat of arrest, you guys are saying that you will, not can, but you will arrest me if I don't leave right now.
What criminal trespass is?
Yeah, I have to be. I issued a criminal trespass warning, and it has to be a federal code on federal property, not state. Not state penal. Can I get a supervisor, please? Just call a supervisor.
He's right there.
And we're out of the lobby, so we've already
Hey,
accomplished.
Mike, pause that for a second.
Yeah, and hey, real
I know,
quick,
but I'm already
BZ, I got to
Pause
commend
it.
you. I did. I got to commend you at how kind you are and polite you are to these.
Oh,
officers.
no. If you notice, I took charge. I didn't just request the first time. The second time, I
Right.
said, get your supervisor.
I get it, but your demeanor is firm, but it's also respectful. And I think that if I was on a jury and I was having to judge this video, I would feel that you were evenly keeled. And that's what most juries look at. They feel you're an aggressor if you become aggressive. Go ahead, BZ. Talk to me.
Oh, I was just saying at this point, I was giving that cop directives. He wasn't going to give me directives.
Right. And it's amazing how you can take charge by not letting other people get your goat. And that's really something.
And then
that
after the supervisor gets involved, when he disappears to go do his thing here in a minute, I want
Yeah.
you to watch how I just insult these guys over and over and over without actually raising my voice or sounding insulting.
Yeah.
And it's just hilarious because I make these guys look, well, I don't make them look dumb. They just look dumb themselves. It's just they do it to themselves. I mean,
The classic one says that you're assertive but calm, and I would say that's a really great characterization.
Yeah,
the classic one.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, and then Chris says pigs and perceived authority, and I hear that a lot from a lot of Chili's viewers, especially that they really want to put out this impression that they have all this power, and that turns a lot of people off. And and Katie Kidman agrees. Yeah.
I love it. LTVO says clean, not mean. I love it.
Where's that one at? I'm trying to find all the cool ones.
The very bottom.
Yeah. So everybody give Let's OTVO a bunch of ones because he helps me moderate this bad chicken. And, when I first started out, I thought I was going to be like, Mr. Elon Musk and let everybody talk. And then I started to realize a lot of these people are just really rude, evil, demonic people. They should they have nothing positive to say. And so Let's OTVO really has helped me a lot. And I really appreciate that. And hey, by the way, where's Miss Constitutional Law Scholar? Not happy that she's not here.
Constitutional rights.
Miss Constitutional Rights. I expect Miss Constitutional Rights Law Scholar to get her butt over here and help us start.
Are we hooking her up with Chili? Is she going to be Mrs. Constitutional Law Scholar?
I hope so. I hope that she manages his channel. By the way, guys, if you guys want me to talk like Joe Biden, no, honestly, if you guys want me and BZ to do a show on delete laws this weekend, give me a topic and I'll do a drive to help sell some cop cards.
You know what? Chris Budisa is very informative, educational. I wouldn't mind to see what kind of topic he'd like to throw at us.
Well, if he's got something, just let me know. Let's keep watching this bad chicken.
Roll that beautiful
property
footage
for whatever they're claiming. Okay. Supervisor, I'm requesting supervisor at this point. And I already told you I leave under threat arrest, but we're going to get a supervisor first.
Okay.
So I'm letting you know I'm complying with your orders, even though they're unlawful. It is, sir.
Make it like all commands. It's like, okay, if you do this, then
There's no if. I asked you if I don't leave. You said you will arrest me for trespassing, and I have not been issued a criminal trespass.
This is your criminal trespass.
Okay.
This is your warning.
This is your criminal trespass.
Okay.
This is your warning. This is your criminal trespass. This
Okay.
is your warning.
Okay, just so you know, I was trespassed right there.
Case law, Moore versus United States Post Office. And you guys really need to get educated in Texas, guys.
Has the whole world gone crazy? Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
Okay. Texas
I think I am the only one that gives a shit
All of
about
it.
the rules.
You swore an oath to the United States Constitution and the
No,
Texas
you said you have to go
Constitution.
to Texas, but now you're spouting off like.
Because you guys don't learn the United States Constitution. You only care about local codes. You guys aren't federally trained to even regulate federal property without a contract.
That's right.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So this is something that we need to like just put an end to right now. Okay. So you've got all these guys, these people who think like they're sea lawyers. We would have called them in the Marines, right? They think they know what they're talking about. Look, you've got the right to film in areas that are open to the public, subject to reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions. Now, there are traditional and non-traditional public forums. And of course, the meanings of words and definitions are subject to reasonable interpretation. But there's no question that someone who's auditing a post office to try and understand why a government agency that's billions of dollars in debt, that always loses money, has a 2-star rating. Any other private business would have gone under a long time ago. And we know that it's basically just used to funnel money back to politicians, in the form of political campaign donations. That's how they keep their jobs and their salaries. It is just run so poorly. It's a disgrace to this country. We're 75 trillion in debt. He's in there trying to do an audit to try to figure out what the fudge is going on. And look at the way they treated this guy. What do you have to say for yourself, BZ, and getting all these government employees upset?
Actually, you know what? I actually had fun with this, to be honest. At this point, I had fun. My heart rate came down, and I was just like, you know what? F the police. I'm going to walk out on my own 2 feet, even secure my persons, even though it may be an unlawful order since I was just trespassed. But I'm going to push it a little bit more because I was able to get a supervisor. If they said no supervisor, I'd have kind of tuck tail, walk to my car, and go file my complaints. But y'all going to see for anybody who hasn't seen this video, I'm not going to ruin it. I'll let it go from here.
So
just know I was trespassed
here, and they have no say on who comes and goes from their building.
Yes, sir.
Just because it's a federal place, that means anybody at any time can do anything they want here.
I didn't say that. I didn't say anything anytime. You get disorderly, and they have the rules up there on the rule. They have a federal statute for disorderly.
Guys, a total
my positive.
Not Texas statute.
This is
I'm not been.
This is a total a-hole.
No, go back. Look, hey, this is my live stream. Go back like 10 seconds.
All right. How far back?
Like 10 seconds, because when he's asking about the federal building, anytime, any place, when the camera pans over, this is your point for this live stream to talk about any time, place, and manner when I give him that tongue lashing when he asked that question.
Let's do it.
You only care about local codes.
Right after this, when they pan to him.
You guys aren't federally trained to even regulate federal property without a contract.
Right here.
Okay, I'll let you.
Okay, so you can come in here, and they have no say on who comes and goes from their building.
Yes, sir.
Just because it's a federal place, that means anybody at any time can do anything they want here.
That's not.
I didn't say that. I didn't say anything anytime.
That's not what you said. This guy's just typical.
No, but listen to what I tell him.
All right.
Get disorderly, and they have the rules up there on the rule. They have a federal statute for disorderly. Okay. It's a federal statute, not Texas statute. I've not been abusive.
Right
I've not
been
basically loud. I've not been threatening.
So basically, at this point, I told him yes at any time, any person, but depending on the manner, like if I was disorderly, then you would have reason and cause. But until then, I can go in there at any time, any place, as long as it's open to the public, and conduct myself accordingly.
Right. He just made up a whole gamut of nonsense that had no relation.
He's trying to cop-explain. He's a rookie. He even lies later when I ask him how long he's been a cop. He says 10 years. 3 years. He's lying about 7 years, 10 years.
Right. They just lie about everything, and that's why
they don't even know how long they've been on a department anymore. They lie to everybody.
I mean, everybody, give me a bunch of ones if you think it's absurd that the Supreme Court has said that it's okay for police to lie to people.
It's like saying I can't. It's like saying I can't go in there with a rainbow flag shirt on.
Doesn't that undermine our trust in our public officials that they have the right to lie to us? I mean, that becomes systemic, right? I mean, if the people out there enforcing these laws that they pass have the right to lie, doesn't it make the whole system corrupt?
What are you
Give me
talking
a bunch
about?
of ones if you
Enforcing
think
laws that they pass? Hell, they make up laws as they go.
they make up their own street laws, and even the laws that they do pass, they only apply them to their political enemies, as we're seeing constantly happen lately. Let's go ahead and finish watching the rest of your beautiful bean footage.
I only engaged when they asked me a question, just like you just asked me. And I wasn't even raising my voice this high. Because you got... And I have it all on video. Hey, Sergeant? Sergeant, I need a reasonable officer because these three are going to lose their qualified immunity with the lawsuit that you guys will be hit with.
Oh, my.
Under threat of arrest. All I need to do is call that postal inspector number like I asked your three guys to do and ask them if I have permission to film in the lobby. I never talked to anybody until I was engaged.
So what? So you were just you walked in and just started filming?
I can show you the video, sir. I haven't done anything wrong that would warrant a disorderly conduct or anything like that.
Yeah, no one's saying anything like that.
I haven't even conducted my business yet. But as my primary business under the First Amendment, freedom of press, I have the right to film, and it says it right there on the rules and regulations, federal statutes, right there on the wall.
I'm just trying to. So all you did, you walked in, you started filming, and then what happened?
They asked me why I was there to film. I said I'm here to record, and I just bottom line didn't really have any more words with them. She went running in the back and caused a disturbance with everybody in the back, and everybody started doing this and started getting all right. And
okay, so you never said anything to them. They approached you.
That's correct, sir. And the only reason that a few customers got irate is because they stirred up the pot. And then at one point, they even told one customer, stop, because they probably already know they screwed up. I just came from another post officer. This is the 10th one I've ever been at doing this. First time cops have ever been called on me.
Okay, so what is this exactly?
This is their memo internally because they don't educate their employees.
Who is there?
Postal Service, sir.
Okay.
So this
right?
No, I took it because I don't have my actual FOIA that I got from the post office.
Okay.
But this is their mandatory stand-up talk. This is the process and protocols they're supposed to do when engaged with a member of the press or anybody recording in a lobby.
You're laying his whole case out.
And they didn't want to. They didn't even. I asked the girl for her name. She didn't want to give it. She didn't want to give me her title. I was trying to have a consensual conversation to let her know and educate her.
So I just want to share something with the audience that he truly is educating this sergeant here. And I think that the sergeant, he's at a different level where part of his job is damage control. Part of his job is to make sure that his agency doesn't get sued. So now he has notice, and I've tried to explain this in my other videos when it comes to other negligence issues. Now he has reasonable notice that he has a particular duty to do or not do something. In this case, he has a duty to look at what these postal regs are and look at this information. And now he has to make a judgment call as to what he needs to do in order to protect his agency, which is his primary duty, believe it or not.
But instead, everybody wanted to call you guys.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sorry I'm amped up, but I got 4 people with guns sitting here with badges. You know what I mean? Under threat of arrest to leave. And under federal statute, you would have to hit me with a federal trespass code, not a Texas state penal code.
Yeah, that's not always accurate, but let me go talk to them.
And for officer safety reasons, I'm going to step out of your way without traffic to continue.
That's classic, man.
I'm throwing all their lingo right back at them.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to lean up against this bar behind you guys, if you don't
Now,
mind.
Mike, I didn't get a chance to talk
If
to
you guys have any more questions,
and pause it right here.
Yeah. Hold on. Stand by.
Always try to educate the postmaster.
Stand by.
See what I wrote on the screen?
I repositioned myself so I could use reflections. Oh yeah, that's sick. Dude.
Now
That's
look at the
James
glass.
Bond.
Now look at the glass. Do you see where I'm
I see
standing
it.
in that bright orange Hawaiian shirt?
Yeah, I see it. Yep.
Now, in this video, I want you to keep reminding yourself, watching that, because you'll see the guy on the left get a little closer to me and get in view of that glass on my camera view.
Copy that. Guys, watch this. Check out BZ James Bond Watchdog, guys. Check this dude out. This is like
Wherever you're surrounding at 360, and I have the bars behind me that I'm leaning on, so no one can sneak up behind me because I'll see him coming up in the glass.
It's that superior Marine Corps training. That's what made all this happen, guys. Give a bunch of ones to Chesty Puller for producing people like fine auditors like BZ Watchdog. There you go.
Yeah, Stone Bed would never be this
I
good.
usually verify with the postal inspector or the chief postal inspector. They come out, tell me have a nice day, and that's it.
You said that. I've never seen it happen.
Until it happens, sir. I know people threaten it all the time, and they don't follow through with it. but I'm actually probably more well versed with the post office and doing this than probably anybody else.
Yep, it's my number one life goal.
No, so I'm just exercising my First Amendment right. I mean, you took an oath to the Constitution, right?
According to Cranford's signed oath of office, it says that he will protect and preserve and defend the Constitution and laws.
Sick.
You're supposed to protect my freedoms and uphold it, not violate them, right?
Great job. Great work.
Now, if I was on private property, absolutely, they don't even need a reason to trespass me. I understand that. Public building, unless I'm being disorderly.
Pause it right here. Oh, you missed it.
They have to have a reason. That would be basically saying that because I'm holding a camera, you're discriminating.
How far?
Right to the sign sworn of oath. Go back right there.
Signed oath of office. It says that he will protect and preserve.
So I just want everybody to know, I even did an open records request for this officer's signed oath of office. Okay. Now, the only reason I say that is because when I ask him, isn't it your job to protect and defend my rights of the United States Constitution? He turns around and tells me it's your duty to protect your rights. Now, what does that document say right there that he signed?
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God.
So he's a liar and an oath breaker. What else has he lied about on police reports?
Let's get it going.
Roll that
footage. Defend the Constitution and laws.
You're supposed to protect my freedoms and uphold it, not violate them, right? Now, if I was on private property, absolutely, they don't even need a reason to trespass me. I understand that. Public building, unless I'm being disorderly.
Come on, Jim. We got to narrate sometimes.
Yeah, they have to have a reason. That would basically saying that because I'm holding a camera, you discriminate me and not let me have access that everybody else has.
Their issue is people are conducting business that has to do with financial transactions and stuff.
Yeah, he stepped towards
feel
Mike.
Insecure.
What's that?
Has to do with
See how he stepped towards me?
Yep.
They feel
They're trying to intimidate you, of course.
They feel insecure. They feel insecure.
About it being filmed.
When did you guys become the feelings police instead of law enforcement? You're not the feelings enforcement.
The reason they call
I understand that. But you're here to enforce the law, correct?
Oh, that was great.
That is being when people aren't wanted on places.
Because of their feelings.
It doesn't matter. Like he was explaining, there doesn't have to be.
Sounds like a Canadian cop.
It doesn't matter. Like he was explaining, there doesn't have to.
Sounds like we're Nazi
their
Germany.
feelings are hurt. What's that?
It doesn't matter.
Nazi Germany.
He was explaining.
Exactly.
There doesn't have to be.
The Stasi.
Whether you agree with it or not.
What do y'all do? Go to Tarrant County College for the academy?
That look is completely shameful. He is insulted. The fact that I called him out on his college education, didn't go to a real police academy.
I'm not trying to insult you, but that's where everybody.
That's how I mean,
I'm not
we
trying to
can have
insult
a simple
you.
Conversation, or you can be the way you are. That's
I'm not
fine.
trying to insult you. I'm just saying every officer that I run into with that knowledge goes to the same academy. It's just a statement. It's fact based on my encounters of talking to and watching videos and investigate. Because I will be doing a public information request on all four of you. I'll be up. Trust me, at the end of the day, I'll have it all submitted.
It's all recorded.
And I'll have body cam and dash cam footage.
But it's not all recorded. Only the good stuff that makes the cops look good is what gets turned over usually.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I got your name and badge number.
Look at this guy's hands. I think
Absolutely.
he's sending
It's a matter of
him.
public record.
He's cupping. Probably got a throw down.
You guys
little
don't
bag
think
of,
that I don't do this for a living.
There's nothing to do with it for a living.
hey, he's got that little baggie in his cupped hand there, a little throw down meth, right? Make that arrest look good.
Right.
It's a big deal for us for you to obtain information that's public. It's not a big deal.
It's not even about that. It's about now. You were the one that went in and had the conversation with them, right?
I did.
Okay. And you didn't mute your mic or anything like that, right?
Why would I need my mic?
Because that's conspiracy. I've seen it happen.
Oh man. Wow.
I know their playbook.
Yeah.
He's getting a little antsy.
Yeah, he wants to.
Like I said, I will under threat of arrest, but let the sergeant do his thing. Let him call the postal inspection. Let him know that you guys want to see the video that I didn't even initiate a conversation at all.
They didn't say you were doing any of that stuff. Like I said, they just.
So because I have access to the public like everyone else does, as a member of the media and the press, that I can't go in and simply I'm being singled out because I'm holding a recording, which
most people don't do that.
Which poster said, I mean, but anybody can go. You can go film your transaction if you want, though. I'm well
aware.
So they're
if they allow me to, if they told me they're not going to complete my transaction because I'm filming, then I can't. No one can force them to do it, right?
Actually, that's correct. That's incorrect, sir. Based on the rules and regulations. All right, Sarge, what'd you come up with?
What's your name? I didn't get that when I first.
I'll let identify as good citizen for now.
That's fine. I'm Sergeant
What's your name? Look at how it came at you. Look at how it came at you, man. Like just coming right at you. They just can't help themselves, right?
Equals competent officer.
Okay.
So
he's
here's
making
the
some
deal.
money.
So here's the deal.
They're fine with you recording.
Okay.
They said you're allowed to record inside. The one thing that they're requesting is that you just don't go past those doors where people are doing financial stuff. That's their only request.
Did you call the postal inspector, sir?
I have not called the postal
Okay,
inspector.
if you do, but in all foyers, lobbies, hallways, and corridors, which that is a lobby.
Yeah.
Okay, the postal inspector will tell you on the phone. The only thing I can't do is zoom in on that credit card machine and that letter. And I didn't. I stood in an area where I couldn't see it, but there's a sign in front.
Good man, BZ.
I was just doing the lobby. The reason is there's been a lot of complaints about the employees here. It's the only reason I came here, and I just was observing the employees interact with the customers.
Hey, everybody, give me a bunch of ones right now for BZ for just the way he's standing his ground and really being a man. I have a lot of respect for the way he's handling himself. It takes a lot of balls to be able to do that when you got a bunch of guys standing around with guns.
And like I said, when they engaged me, I was just short to the point. No reason to go back and forth. I'm not here to cause a verbal disturbance.
Yeah.
I'm just here to get my content, my footage, observe them. And if there's any complaints I got to put in, then I'll go back and do that with the Postal Service.
Yeah. And so I did explain that to him. I said that it is not illegal to record people. Whether it makes people uncomfortable or not, it's not illegal. I did explain that to him. Their only request is that you stay on this side of the doors. Legality aside, that's just a request. I'm trying to find some common ground. You know, you're a reasonable guy.
But he should leave there.
Obviously, they're
wait.
as
Hold
well
on.
versed in this
Pause
stuff.
that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
He should leave if he's trying to be reasonable. He has no jurisdiction to be there.
I know, but he said I was a reasonable guy. Wow, a jury would find that very reasonable.
Well, I think that is a very fair statement. Hey, what did it say he makes? 190 grand a year?
It makes 116,000 a year, or
Oh, okay.
100,000 a year.
I mean, but where that area is, that's a lot compared to
white folks, man. Rich white folks.
Yeah,
Big
but if you were in Inglewood and LA, that would just be like just barely enough to survive. You feel
minimum
me?
wage.
Yeah. All right.
Roll that beam footage.
Their only request is that you stay on this side of the doors. Legality aside, that's just a request. I'm trying to find some common ground. You're a reasonable guy. They're not as well versed in this stuff.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
is it unreasonable to ask that of you?
You can ask that, but sir, all I'm asking you is to get verification from the people that actually do law.
Like me to call them?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Just so your reference, and then that way, when they're wrong, you can go ahead and educate them.
Well, and like I said, I just told them that it's legal for you to record.
Right here. All you got to do is call that. That's the 1-800 number for the Postal Service
and
for law enforcement to call.
And he knows he has no authority.
1-877
So
number.
I'm clear, because this is dated 2022. I'm not saying that anything's changed.
That's their memo. That's their memo inside the Postal Service.
This was sent to you, and you just took a copy of it?
I did a FOIA. I don't have my original document in case something happens.
Next time,
I have this picture copy that I printed out.
I don't bring my original with
the
me.
handwritten stuff.
Bring a duplicate
is on
original.
another memo that I physically
There
saw.
was. I printed it out.
Unredacted.
Get it notarized.
And all I did was copy it over to that one right there.
Okay, so this is something that you got.
Yes, sir. If you talk to the postal
And
inspector,
who wrote all this stuff on there?
I hand wrote that on that copy there.
Okay.
There's protocols that they redacted on the form that I got.
Okay, so you would like me to call this?
Yes, sir. I just want you to complete the investigation. I'm not here to cause an issue. But, these officers don't know for future next time this happens somewhere else in North Richland Hills. I want to make sure they're educated so we don't have to go through this big catastrophe.
Well, I think the gray area, the confusion is in that they don't want to.
I still haven't even bought my stamp yet.
Yeah, they don't. All they're asking is that you don't go past those doors because they said that it looked like you were trying to zoom in on stuff.
No, sir, and I can show you that. I never zoomed in on any of that.
Well, and whether you did or not, I'm just saying that's what I think that's kind of.
Look at Will Rockstar's comment.
But I talked to the chief post. I can't remember his name because it was 2 months ago.
Yeah. Don't worry, no officers were harmed in the making of this audit.
I'd save you time from running them all the plates. Mine's a rental, so you're not going to pull it back to me. I make sure I secure my persons under the Fourth Amendment. So I know, I understand. You got to do your thing. I understand. I'm just letting you know. I already secure my persons, papers, property, and effects. That's all I'm doing. From unlawful searches and seizures. I served in the military, guys. I took an oath to that Constitution. I was hoping you guys would uphold yours. That's why I wanted the sergeant involved. Sometimes you guys aren't well versed in stuff like this because it probably rarely happens out here in North Richland Hills. That's fine.
Look how
I got all day to wait. I know you guys don't, but I know you're here on the call until it's completed. You can't go anywhere.
Look at Dr. Walter. Poor short bus ride.
I just want to make sure everyone's educated, so like I said, because a lot of these post offices I go to, they don't educate their own employees. Yeah. And I was just at another location in Haltom City. Even the installation head, who's above the postmaster, didn't even know. Like I said, I talked to the chief postal here for DFW, and I made sure I asked all these questions, got all this clarity before I stepped foot in a post office.
Oh, look at this one.
I'm not coming in half cocked.
I was just thinking chili, man.
Hold on. Hold on, dude. This is classic, bro. Would love to
thinking, can you imagine having chili go with me on this? Woo!
So for the viewers, Chris Castillo says, would love to see auditors accompanied by a Marine Corps drill instructor. Now that would be funny. Semper Fi. LOL. That's dope. Yeah, I agree. All right.
Some of the confusion starts when people assume that their uncomfort equals
their feelings, but that's not a law.
Yeah, no, I agree. I explained that to them. That just because customers are uncomfortable doesn't make it illegal.
That's right.
But our goal, obviously, is to keep the peace.
Absolutely.
Right? So
yeah, but he's not supposed to be there to begin with.
Their only request was that you don't go past those doors. And then, like I said, as a courtesy, I'll call.
Now, while we're okay, I was going to say while we're waiting, but you're on the phone.
Yeah,
so.
I'm calling him right.
Federal rules. It's not a code. It's not a local code. It's a rule and regulation of federal property.
Look what he said, dude.
Ain't that true?
How long y'all been on the department?
Oh, here you go.
Or, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that question. How long y'all been peace officers? How long have y'all been peace officers?
Over 10 years.
I didn't want to insult you with the wisdom and experience you look like you might have, sir.
That smug asshole.
Look at this smug jackwagon. He was causing a scene like a Karen inside. Now he's got a shirt that says freedom is not free with that smug ass look on his face.
Yeah. It's funny.
That was one of the people that threw a fit in there, and then they had to calm him down.
Great observation, BZ. You'd be a great lawyer, by the way.
So they're trying to say I can't go in that lobby recording either?
No. I just said that's their request. They have requested that you don't go past those doors. I explained to them there's nothing illegal about it.
As long as I don't zoom in on mail, and as long as I don't zoom on my credit card machine to try to capture, which would be illegal, federal, and possibly state.
Yeah.
But can I educate you on one real quick thing on their rules inside this lobby right here, not right here on the poster 7, which is, and it's also outdated, which means they need to come up with.
Yeah,
as
far as all that, we don't have any.
Yes, sir.
Any of that, right?
Yes, sir. Okay.
What would you like to show me?
As soon as the gentleman's done, I want to make sure. So this is rules and regulations governing conduct on postal property. If you look right here, sir, obviously they have a federal code for disturbances, which would be our version of disorderly conduct in Texas. Where is public assembly, which is not it. It is photographs for news advertising.
Dude, I can't believe you got this guy to do that.
Are you okay with me taking this down so you can read this?
No, don't take anything down.
Do you want to step?
Yeah.
It says in all hallways, corridors, foyers, and lobbies, which.
Yeah. No, and that's what I said. They're not saying you can. They're asking that
you knew this the whole
time. Okay, so I can go back in there.
Yeah.
I was just doing this to get step in and just
all I want to do at this
taking
point,
an inch
Sergeant
at a
Bray,
time.
in all honesty, if you want to find the common ground and just get me out of here so you guys can move on about your day, and I'll be more than happy to. I won't really call this a walk of shame for my video because I think you were very reasonable.
Yeah.
And I asked to get you involved to educate these officers.
Very good.
Is to go in here, educate, let me purchase my stamp so that way I can get my survey.
Okay. So
And
you
then
just want to go and purchase a stamp? Can I walk in there?
Can you also educate them that I'm allowed to be in that lobby?
You know how he asked if he can go with me?
Okay.
That was dope.
Appreciate it.
So that's all.
Yeah.
Come on, stamped envelope, please.
I have no problem with the way he's acting right now. I can't believe the sense of entitlement with public employees. I mean, give me a bunch of ones if you think it's absurd how the state has done a judo reverse move.
Look
how government employees are in charge of us now.
Look how she's still treating me.
They're horrible. Like government, DMV, post office, they're just like bottom of the barrel attitude problem. They're disrespectful. It's terrible. Give me some ones if you agree. Give me twos if you think that they're respectful and honorable people.
Is your name on there so I can do the survey?
Have a good one, sir. You ready, man?
So you see that. So it wasn't me. All right, Sergeant Brave. So I just want to thank you for, at least being a reasonable peace officer. You may want to just educate the troops a little bit. Are you the patrol sergeant for all three of those guys?
Yes, I'm the A shift, one of the A shift patrol sergeants.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I need.
Well,
That was amazing.
I appreciate you talking to me, and
I'm just trying to stand up for
working
my
with me a
First
little bit.
Amendment rights, sir.
I totally get it.
And
You're not
that's
the first. You won't be the last. So
well, I'm a little bit more reasonable than
Outstanding.
most. I'm not going to sit here and
I'll probably agree with that for sure. It's like I explained to him already. You're well within your rights.
And so now I have something to file a complaint with the Office of the Inspector General based on their conduct. So, and breaking protocol, as you can see on the memo. So I just want to thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.
All right. So, and I know you got a lot to say, BZ, but I just want to say something real quick.
Oh, this video's not done. You're still going to keep playing it.
So Officer Bray, all right? So Officer Bray.
No, don't demote the man. Sergeant Bray.
Sergeant Bray. Sergeant Bray, although he comes off cool and everything, and I think that he was very professional, remember, there's no interagency agreement. He's not supposed to be there. These cops are not supposed to be there unless they have a law enforcement agreement that enables them to enforce federal law. It's a federal enclave. So unless there's an emergency, they shouldn't be there. And so I think he recognizes that, and that's why he's backing off. But he also wants to show the postal workers that he's standing around just in case, so they feel like they have some kind of power too, because he can see that they're more concerned about their feeling of being disrespected or whatever, however they feel, than they are about going along with their own memo, their own law. So I'm going to go ahead and keep playing this.
At the time this video was edited, there have been no lawsuits or complaints filed, but they are coming soon.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Yeah, that was dope, dude. That was super cool. All right, so hold on one second. I want to just get over to my little screen share.
I got people in the chat that are getting like held up on little titles where prohibited official signs or author. That doesn't apply because there's nobody on scene that has authorization, and there were no signs. So I don't know why they always try to bring that crap up. But
yeah, so I'm just telling you, as a very well-educated lawyer and someone who's been involved doing First Amendment work.
Now, hold on a second. I got to address this Wayne Jones guy because he's trolling.
Make it happen.
Hold on, I gotta lay into this asshole.
Well,
Wayne
let's
Jones,
see what he says.
an
Let's
authorized
see what
person would be not the manager in the building because they have no authorization to do so. It's an enforcement agency, not a government employee of the building. That means they can say, Wayne Jones, you have a gay flag shirt on. You can't be in here. So it makes no sense, So take your nonsense, go somewhere else. Don't disrupt the room. If you want to learn, then stop sitting here and trying to disrupt. Thank you.
So, Mr. DLRU, yes, it is correct in all states that the same rules would apply to a post office because the post office is its own state basically. It's a federal enclave. So it's gonna be under federal law. So when those local law enforcement agents come on federal land, and they arrest someone for violating a local trespassing statute, that is improper. And they should be enforcing a federal trespass statute. I hope you people are understanding this. And I'm hoping some intelligent district attorney or someone who has an IQ of over 3 who has a law degree can understand this because this is super important. Now, there is an argument that public meetings, a place for public meetings, and we're going to get into this discussion now. This is my real area of expertise, wouldn't be the area there where he's standing. However, in this case, that would be up to them to make more clear. It cannot be such an overly broad statute that it could be construed against him, that it could be construed against BZ. So it has to be interpreted as that he is allowed to be there and film, subject to what we call reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions. And although it is true that a post office is what they would call a non-traditional forum. Okay, a traditional forum would be like a park, it would be a public sidewalk. Those are your traditional public places of discourse. So yeah, that might be true, but it's still a place of the people, guys. And in this case, he has the right to do his reporting and go and see why the heck they have a 2-star rating. Give me a bunch of 1s if you agree, and give me a bunch of 2s if you're a jackboot thug who disagrees. And I'm going to get into this really quick because I want to give you a little bit of a lecture. But first, I want to get into the sidebar really fast. Hey, thanks, USA Badass, for showing up. Whenever I see names like that, I always get motivated and want to do some push-ups. And let me see here. Wayne Jones. I don't know about that. I Am God. Always interesting to see you as well. So I'm going to get into my little lecture here. So the bottom line is that there are different types of places that you can go. There's quasi-public places. And basically, the First Amendment precludes the government from restraining expression, and it does not require individuals to turn over their homes or businesses or property to people wishing to communicate a different topic, right? So courts basically have held that you have more freedom. I'm just trying to find anything in here that looks interesting that's going to be helpful to you guys. Courts have traditionally held that you have traditional forums and non-traditional forums. And a post office is not really a traditional forum to go and have free speech. But again, I've explained to you why it would be something that would be a particular. Okay, so here we go. Here is this stuff that I wanted to share with you guys. So the Roberts view was the view that was called into question in the 1960s, but it's basically kind of swinging back. And Justice Black basically had a narrower view of speech rights in public places, and that's why there's sort of a, law enforcement sort of goes on this old sort of view, but later decisions have restated this Roberts language from Hague, which is a very seminal case on this. So we know that public streets and parks, including those adjacent to courthouses and foreign embassies, are traditional public forums as well as public libraries, right? And so, as well as the grounds of legislative bodies. So one of the issues that a lot of the people have when it comes to the post office is they say that it's not really a traditional public forum, and therefore you're not allowed to be there unless there's a place for public meetings there. But the problem is they don't have public meetings necessarily at the post office, other than the meetings that you would have to go and pick up and receive and do.
Well, Mike, it specifically says or auditoriums, which the post office doesn't have. At least the post office I've seen don't have auditoriums, and that's where the auditoriums for public use. And see, that's where all these trolls sit there and look at it, and they don't look at the word or. It doesn't mean and, it means or. They need to look at it as a lawyer and look at the breakdown. You take what applies, and what doesn't apply, you disregard.
So here's the problem that we have, right? We know that at the post office, they allow postal employees to wear the rainbow flag pins and all that stuff, right? You know that, right? That's a form of free speech, right? It's expression, right? Okay.
Right. Yeah.
I just want to lay a foundation for my audience and you as well, guys, because I want to educate you.
Whoa, hold on. Wayne Jones's comment. So if they hung a sign that said no recording, that would be nope. You can hang a sign all day long, but if it's not law, it's unconstitutional. First Amendment has no. You want to explain that comment, because this guy says he's not trolling, he's trying to learn, and
that's fine. So
to me, it feels like, I mean, I might be, I might be taking the text out of context because I'm an auditor and I've learned the law, but you're a lawyer, so why don't you go ahead and
if they hang a sign and there's no force of law behind it, in other words, if there wasn't some kind of a legislative enactment or a Supreme Court case that gave it force of law, it would have no force and effect in law. It'd be like Marbury versus Madison. All laws repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. So if a postal worker just puts up a sign, that will have no force or effect in law. It may spur a local PD to make a false arrest, but that would reflect poorly on both agencies after they got sued. But now it says yes, and of course, Jim points out that Poster 7 is not just for post offices; it's for all federal buildings.
It mirrors the memo. It mirrors the DHS memo, because that's where they get it all from.
It's just a federal rule about federal property when it comes to the First Amendment, because they did have issues, not quite as extreme as we're facing now with auditors, but they still had them. But the crucial question is going to be whether the manner of expression is basically compatible with the normal activity of a particular place at a particular time. And so what we have to look at is, well, we know now for sure it's pretty normal for auditors to come into post offices. Number one, we know that. And we know that postal employees themselves do the rainbow flag, political action stuff, the trans rights, all that. That's all political speech. So it makes sense after a 2 rating on Yelp or whatever they're getting, that the press would be able to come there and hold them accountable. And so I believe, and again, it's considered to be what they call a non-traditional forum, right? It's not, the post office isn't like a sidewalk. It's going to get more scrutiny when it comes to what you can do there, but he's not there doing crazy stuff. He's doing a little bit of an audit. He's also getting a survey sheet, which is part of what he does as part of his audit, and even buys a postage stamp. So he is conducting business.
And contributing to that $6.5 billion loss.
And he's trying to figure out where the hell is all this money going. And these postal workers are really creeps, and they have no respect for anyone, and they have attitude problems. Why do we even have this agency to begin with? So he's doing all the good stuff. So let me just get into this with you. So, but again, there is going to be a question about the manner of expression and is it compatible? Well, in my opinion, as a lawyer, and of course, being a pro-Constitution guy, I don't see him causing any trouble. I see it's all these people letting their estrogen build up a little bit too much and causing trouble for him. Now, the other thing is so the nature of the use to which the property is put to, or by tradition, some sites are simply not as open for expression as streets and parks are. And this is what I try to explain to all the auditors and people who want to argue with me all the time. And there has to be reasonableness, and they call it time, place, and manner restrictions. I just want you guys to get this. But right now, what we're seeing is BZ, from what I can see, hasn't done anything wrong. Now,
and Mike, even in that video, several times, they even said, I haven't done anything wrong.
That's right. And if the government does open non-traditional forums for expressive activities, it's not allowed to discriminate on the basis of content or viewpoint according to access. So if they're going to allow the rainbow flag pins and all the stuff the political stuff that they allow at post offices, he's not, BZ's not doing anything that's bad other than filming. So he's being discriminated against, a First Amendment activity, based upon the fact that he's holding a camera. If he was in there just walking around, looking incognito with a hidden camera, this wouldn't be an issue. But because he's stationary, for the point of not causing a disruption, that's causing them to create a disruption. I hope you're following this. He's being non-disruptive. He's not walking around filming with a hidden camera. He's standing stationary with a camera. Now imagine if he was standing stationary without a camera, they'd think he was a crazy whack job. But they know that the guy's not a crazy whack job because he's standing there with a camera. So what he's trying to do is present himself as a non-threat. DZ's trying to present himself as a non-threat but they're psychologically feeling threatened because that's their house in their mind. It's not the people's house because they've been trained that government employees are the master now, and that's how they think. And you can see that in the way they're acting and by the terrible reviews that they're getting. And now if you look at this, basically their viewpoint discriminating against him. They're saying people with cameras don't have the same rights as people that want to talk about other political speech. Now, there is a division in the court, in the high court, about public forum doctrine, and that's why we're having some of these problems. And that's why I have a lot of respect for BZ for keeping it cool when he's especially in a government building, because again, a government building isn't going to be your traditional public forum like a sidewalk. But again, if the government allows it to be open to speech, like political speech that they do allow with their stuff that the government employees do all the time, right? They have to also narrowly tailor it to not only serve the government's legitimate interest, but it has to be a content neutral interest, and it needs to be the least restrictive and the least intrusive means of doing so. So had that officer been a federal officer, I would have really had a lot of respect for him. But in my opinion, that sergeant should have packed his bags and said, you know what? You're right. We have no authority to enforce federal law on federal property. And since we're on federal property, there's no way we can cite you for violating a local, state, or city ordinance in absence of an interjurisdictional or interagency agreement. And so I agree with you as a lawyer, and I can bring on plenty of other attorneys who are former prosecutors who will say the same thing. It's pretty, but again, every jurisdiction is going to have look, lawyers are like a-holes. They all have different opinions. Everybody's got one, right? So,
and they all stink.
They all stink. Well, I'd like to think that my opinions are based on solid natural law theory. And I believe in natural law. I believe all of our rights and everything that we have as humans come from our creator. And that's why the government can't take them away. And anybody who disagrees with that is an enemy of freedom and an enemy of natural rights, which is where all of our Bill of Rights comes from. Now let's take a look here. So now there must be adequate standards to guide the official's decision and render it subject to judicial review. And in here we do have adequate standards. We have a poster 7. Now, in absence of an interagency enforcement agreement, it seems to me like we need to do a drill down, BZ, and try and get additional public records requests showing what, if any, agencies do have an interagency agreement. And then once we find that out, then we can do another narrowly tailored search. And everybody listen to me, maybe you can help BZ do this on your own. Find out about what agencies do have an interagency agreement.
Yeah, actually, right. Mr. DLRU just asked that same question, and if anybody out there knows, please let me know. I'll do a FOIA on it.
No, we could just ask the post office.
I might have to do it. I might have to try to request a sample one if one even exists.
We can simply ask the post office, the general, where it's run from DC.
No. I've already done that, Mike. What they like to do is filter into the different regions and districts.
We can ask them what agencies and what post offices that they do have that have interagency agreements.
Already tried. It's too broad. I have to be specific.
Okay. Well, we need to come up with a more specific definition to get that, and we can brainstorm that. And anybody in the sidebar who has ideas, because look, all this stuff that we're doing is a new area. The only person who has this type of experience really is Tom Fitton over at Judicial Watch. There's really nobody else out there with this kind of experience, and he has to sue all the time to get the FBI and the CIA to release stuff because they lie and hide stuff for years. And we've got 900 documents we want to get from the Nevada PD and from their private citizens review board panel. We want to get all that stuff, and that costs money and time. And I think BZ is the man for the job, but we really do need help, man. If you guys want to hold the government accountable, it starts by illustrating to the public all of these documents they've been hiding from us. For example, the one cop, the state trooper in Nevada, who was trying to hire a hitman to have his wife killed, and the Citizen Review Board has been trying to hide that information for years now, saying there was an investigation when that investigation had long passed and the officer had long been terminated. So just think about that, what's going on out there with our public servants who are allowed to lie to us. Now, unlike a content-based licensing scheme, they don't have to. Well, this is a lot of minutia. You guys aren't really going to understand unless you read this case. But so I recommend that if I'll throw this in the sidebar for you. This just has a government-owned property early doctrine article that I found, and I really, really like it. And I'm going to drop it for you in the sidebar. I'm going to get going. I'm getting super hungry, man. I just want to make sure I can answer any questions for anybody in the sidebar. BZ, what do you think, dude? I mean, did we answer everybody's questions or what?
Are you done with the Cornell stuff? Like I said, if anybody's sorry, I'm over here answering messages and stuff. If anybody will go, if you guys have any questions, you can either reach out to me. Let me pop in here real quick. I put a lot of stuff on my community page. Now that I'm kind of learning the ins and outs of YouTube a little bit, I'm learning how to utilize this community page. I'm trying to put up the documents. I'm going to be posting other stuff that pretty much anything that I've obtained through FOIAs and open records requests. I'm going to actually start putting it up on my my community page, so that way if anybody needs to go through and look for something, it's there, like almost kind of like a little bit of a library. Because I've got all this stuff. That's why I do, just so everybody knows, this is why I do everything via email with the bzwatchdog at gmail.com. So that way everything's getting filed under there. I can go back in the email. I can put it on the community post. So that way we can compile all these records. So if anybody ever needs it, they don't have to try to do a FOIA. I can just whip one out, and all you got to do is reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to email it to you. But yeah, I'm trying to compile as much stuff as I can, kind of like a library of documents.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time and all that energy you put into making that video. And everybody, you guys got to know something. That work that he did is worth thousands of dollars. I would have to pay a private investigator probably around $5,000 to do all that stuff that he did. I mean,
Let me guess, Mike, checks in the mail.
I mean, like as a civil rights lawyer, is to having to hire someone to do that stuff and get all those public records, or just to have my firm do it and just pay my staff. It's about $5,000 worth of work that he put into that. And the editing was super cool and super fun. So everybody go to BZ Watchdog's channel.
Great. Hey, you know what? I'll do a trade. How about you come file my 1983 for me?
We'll talk about it. I got to make sure that I know what I'm getting myself into.
Hey, I set that up so smooth for you on the video to prove reasonableness and everything. Come on.
Now take a look in the sidebar. Also, I put a link. I want somebody to try it and make sure it works.
Hey, you know what? Katie Kidman says she needs a civil rights attorney in California. What about Alan Beck?
Alan Beck is the man. I don't think there's anybody that can do anything but just reach out, have her reach out to you, BZ, and tell me, because Alan works with me. So I'll be able to tell you if we can handle it or not.
Hey, Katie, send all that information to me and I'll
So Alan's my guy. And then if you have stuff in Hawaii in particular, he'll handle all that stuff on his own, and he'll help me with stuff in California. So anybody who needs help from a really good civil rights lawyer, we'll handle it for you if we can. But Alan is really focused on First Amendment, and then Second Amendment. And the only real civil rights cases that we really focus on right now at the firm are the tight handcuff cases and then the police shootings. Those are the cases that we're set up for because of our experience in firearms regulations and firearms law. We're the best law firm there is because we know all their training and all their crap, all the stuff they try to throw out there to escape liability. But anything at all that you guys have, even if I can't help you with it, I'll do my best to try to help you, tell you what I know and share my knowledge, and also try to help you find someone who can. So I'm not going to just throw you to the sharks, but just know I can't help everybody, guys, but I do my best to help people with what I can by sharing my knowledge and stuff. So anything else, I'll do my best. Now I just put my link. Also tell me if it works, at least if anybody wants to read my book.
Someone in the sidebar said it works, so you're good.
Okay. That's cool. Thanks. Yeah, because I don't know how to do all the technical stuff, so I just set it up directly to PayPal. So if anybody wants it, or buy one for your family member or friends, I have a really cool story. And then, of course, if you read it, I want to come up with a second edition. So if you find problems, mistakes, or anything, please tell me so I can make it better. Tell me if I'm missing something, or if you want pictures or whatever. Cause this is all new to me, guys. I've had all these people begging me for years, Mike, you got to write a book. Nobody's done this. So my story is really quick, guys. So I became a lawyer on the law study program in California. And then I got a law degree after I was already a practicing attorney, just because I knew people would say, oh, you didn't go to law school. So I went to a California State Bar accredited law school. There's 3 tiers. There's just unaccredited, Cal Bar accredited, and ABA accredited. So I didn't go to the ABA accredited, but I was already a practicing attorney. So I still got a JD. And then later on, because of my experience as a lawyer, I got licensed in Texas, got waived in. And so I'm licensed in California and Texas. And so my book talks about my journey, how I went from being a disabled Marine and so depressed, and starting several businesses, going through sales jobs, then ultimately becoming a paralegal and then a lawyer. And just to show you and give you some motivation and direction in your life. And I did it later in life, and you guys can do it too. And all of your life experience will actually help you become a better lawyer, because the problem with lawyers is they don't learn the law by doing. I learned the law by doing on the law study program, studying under lawyers and then judges and things like that, where you go to court and you handle cases, you do litigation, as opposed to doing classroom education. I did my classroom lectures after I was already a lawyer. So it's a really cool story, and I recommend you guys at least get some motivation out of it. And then BZ, if you have anything else to say other than that, I'm going to go ahead and give my normal closing.
If you guys will go, anybody who's not subscribed currently, you guys can go over to my channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I just put the link up for you guys.
Smash it.
Smash that subscribe
Smash
button.
it.
Make sure you leave the comment, share it, check out the community tab, because I'll have those documents up. And just as Mike usually always says, make sure you record this video, because you never know when the thought police may take it down. Not to thunder, but
man, you got me, dude. So I hope you all have a good weekend. Now, Let's OTVO says we should go on Chili's channel this weekend and talk about your video. I'm cool with it, BZ. I think that will be fun. One thing we really need to help Chili with, if we're going to go on his channel, is help him out with his trifolds and cop cards. And I think he also wanted to talk to you about helping him sell those as well while he's in there. So any ideas for anybody to?
I sent off a letter Tuesday to him. He's got my phone number on it, so he can call me from.
All right. Anybody who's got any ideas to help him with his trifolds and stuff while he's away, I'd really appreciate it. I know obviously his channel's never going to do that good unless he's the one behind it. It's him who is Delete Laws. Let's face it. But I'm willing to go on there and help support his channel. Last time we got 58,000 views, BZ, doing that one video. So we could probably get a way better one with your post office video. Let's talk about it. All right.
Yeah. We can do it. You just make it happen. Just tell me time and everything. And
all right.
We'll make it happen.
All right, guys. Well, everybody give me a bunch of ones for BZ and the great work and research and all the time and effort he went to do those public records requests, getting the oaths of office. That was super impressive. And also a bunch of ones for the way he was so professional with those officers, just like a regular member of the press would be, proving himself to be a true member of the press, a real stand-up citizen, just trying to get information and trying to do an audit. So
hey, real quick, could you imagine if a regular citizen did what I did without the knowledge that I had?
They wouldn't be able to do it. You were really great. You did a great job, and you're going to get better because we're going to keep on doing these meetings, and we're all going to be like iron sharpening iron, like it says in the Bible. And we're just going to keep becoming better and better people. And I recommend that all of you guys develop parallel systems and start doing business and supporting people who are like-minded, and get out from under the yoke of this political state that we live in, where you just have this division, and just start supporting people, even if they have different political beliefs, for at least believing in natural law and believing in maybe even they believe in salvation, which is a good thing because they want to be good people.
They're going to start doing auditing 101 classes.
We should. You should. You should.
Anybody willing to pay me for my time?
It'd
be quicker and better than writing a book.
Yeah, and free chili, by the way. Hey, everybody, give me a bunch of Let's OTVOs. Give me a bunch of OTVOs. Give me a bunch of FCs for free chili. Also, make sure to go and always like and subscribe to his channel as well, Delete Laws, and share his videos and support him by buying his pullovers, and his trifolds and all that other stuff. I'd really appreciate it. It would be really nice. It's very, very difficult to not be able to run your business when you're locked up. So That's all good stuff.
Give your
bunch
thought
of
police
ones.
sign off. Give your thought police sign off.
Thought police sign off. Okay, everybody, with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because you never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. And Semper Fi, do or die. Arrgh! Arrgh!